So I started university on September the 11th. The trade towers were hit in our lunch break. I was hit immediately by, wow, is this what I'm going to do with my life? I'm going to create dresses, when I was very interested in sustainability.
I wanted to be an architect since I think I am 7 years old. I wanted to work with materials. When I started to be into fashion, I wanted to work in sport and technical products. And at this time, I know that Nike, Adidas, all these big brands have really cool labs.
I was at a crossroads in my career and I was wanting to leave my corporate life to go into fashion. I am an environmental engineer, but I just thought there was a lot of waste and excess in the fashion industry. And so I just thought, why don't I try to make a difference?
After university, I worked in fast fashion in London. Didn't really fit with my values or my interests. And the worst moment I remember was I'd been sick for a couple of days and I'd come back to work and I had the realisation that nobody had noticed that I'd been away. I thought, God, I really don't matter.
I don't need to be an environmental engineer to know that the fashion industry is just completely horrible and polluting. 63% of the world's clothes is made out of plastic. Most of the clothes that are made in the world are made in Asia. It's a little bit like Asia makes the clothes, other people sort of wear it, and then at the end it comes back as a sort of global landfill. That's a huge problem in Asia.
I have a friend in the family who told me that I needed to see all the factory. I arrived in Istanbul. It was strange because I start to ask questions. Why they have hand in chemical product without any protection? And they just told me to stop. At the end, it's to make you wear a garment and you see kids working or people having disease because of this. This I will never forget. Seeing all these big brands, super famous, that I didn't know they was making garments in this condition, it really make me a big disappointment, about this. That's why also I start to work with startup after.
Dropped out of fashion completely, decided I needed to do something completely different. I ended up in Peru on an organic cotton farm. I found that probably one of the most pivotal moments in my career and in my life. And actually we can learn so much more about how to make things better if we know how they're made in the first place. Sounds so obvious. I first started Finisterre in 2008, which was founded upon sustainable commitments.
My sustainability consultancy, I started that a few years ago. If you think about fashion as an industry, all the wealth that they've created in the last decade and a half, they've only spent less than 1% of their net sales into R&D. In comparison to that, your tech companies would invest about at least 13 to 15%.
I start to work with Circle. I think my most beautiful project, we use recycled synthetic yarn. We just wanted to don't use new material.
I think it was about 2017 we became aware of the issue of microfiber release from textiles. So we started to work with the Microfiber Consortium to understand what makes better materials. There's something particularly within the microfiber issue that's sort of misunderstood, is that the synthetic component of a material doesn't have to be that it's made of synthetic, it can also be the dye stuffs. So a cotton can be turned into a synthetic depending on how it's finished and dyed. What I'm not going to say is that we have got the solution. Nobody has actually, which is really frustrating. So actually we've sort of gone back to basics. Wool is a really good fibre. You don't need to wash it as often. It's naturally antibacterial.
All the people who say we need to stop our dependence to plastic, this is true, petrochemical plastic, but plastic can come from natural stuff, because in sport it's impossible now to use cotton and be bio-cotton, for example, and be super performant. We have the problem of petrochemical, we destroy our planet to make a yarn. We have another problem, it's all the waste. Recycled yarn is a good solution for this one, and biopolymer it's a good solution for the petrochemical.
Making clothes out of sustainable fibers. There are really interesting things happening in that scene now where we're using leftover plant waste. If you talk about the fashion supply chain, you've got the fiber production, you've got the manufacturing side of things, which is cut, make and trim. And then you've got the consumer side, and then you've got the post-consumer side. So there are a lot of players that can tackle disruption in each of those areas.
We need collaboration and innovation to move this thing forward.
To make it happen, we need to continue to have a creative and positive mind.
Power is in the supply chain. It's with the creatives, it's with the innovators, it's with science, it's with the suppliers. Actually, there's so much happening there.
6 years ago, the half of materials that I have now, I had not, it was not recycled synthetic fibers. It changed so quick. That's why I'm optimistic also.
This kind of drug of fast fashion and this myth that we need constant stuff, that is not a truth. It is just something that we have been sold. Disruption is needed, and I think it's extremely possible.
We don't have a lot of time. Sustainability is not an add-on. It's just the way that you do things the right way.
We feel that everything is impossible, and at the end, if you just try, we will see.